Monkey. My time has come.
Hi guys, Freaky Fishko here with another video for you today. Today we're looking at Evilswarm. So one of my locals last week had a non-meta janky tournament, and I've had this deck in my binder for quite a while, and I thought I want to play Evilswarm. Why not? We'll play Evilswarm in 2021. For those who don't know, this deck actually saw play in 2012 in Dragon Ruler format onwards, because basically you make Ophion and your opponent can't play the game. Up until Master of 4 when Links got introduced, and now suddenly Evilswarm are pretty bad, to be honest. I will happily admit I did lose to this deck in 2017 or 2016 at a regionals. I was playing Cyber Dragon and my opponent made Ophion and I just couldn't play, and thus most people at my locals now, well, one person, shout out to Luke, now always taunts me with Ophion because I couldn't out it with Cyber Dragon. Unfortunately guys, this deck isn't amazing anymore. It is still fun to sort of put the lock on your opponent and they can't play, especially when you back it up with like 7 floodgates. It can make your opponent's life very difficult. However, it's a very slow deck by today's standards, and it does need some more support in my opinion. For those who aren't aware of what Evilswarm do, basically they spam out rank 4s, so things like their own rank 4s or generic rank 4s using the rank 4 toolbox. And so most of the monsters are around making out other rank 4s. That's how they play. So the first most important monster in my opinion is Evilswarm Castor. When this card is summoned, or during the turn it is summoned I should say, you can normal summon another Evilswarm monster. That is not an activated effect, so they can't Veiler it, they can't Imperm it, they can't Ogre it, it just happens. Kind of like the old Ritual Beast stuff. Then we're going to play 3 Evilswarm Heliotrope. You will notice, guys, as we go through the profile that they're all different types. So Heliotrope is a rock, Castor is a warrior. They've also got all odd attack values. This is 1950. Castor, I think, is 1750. Yeah, 1750. The 50 does become very annoying when you're doing life point value, which is also another thing to do to tilt your opponent. 3 Evilswarm Kyrkion. This basically is you banish one from your grave to add one from your grave to your hand, and then normal summon the one from your hand. So it's kind of like Castor, but a little more set up. Then we're playing 2 Mandragora. People have seen this played in like Plant, Synchro. When your opponent controls on monsters, and you can special summon this card from your hand. Really simple. And then finally, Evilswarm Thunderbird, which saw play in Chain Beat. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated, you can banish this card until your next Stammer phase, and it comes back with 300 more attack. Do you used to play as in Chain Beat, where you do like Torrential Tribute, chain this to banish it, and it would dodge Torrential Tribute and then come back. In this deck, you dodge it to like make a rank 4 the next play. On to spells then, guys. We're playing 3 Pot of Desires and 3 Allure of Darkness. Give you some draw power. All of the Evilswarms are dark, so they don't really care about Allure. This did mess me up one game in locals last week because I allured and lost my win condition, really annoyingly. Pot of Desires is there because you don't really care about any of your engine decks being banished as such. We are also playing 3 Unexpected Die. You can play things like Rescue Rabbit in this deck, and people did used to. However, things like Ash and Gamma in the current format is a lot harder to make that play live, and you die on your normal summon being disrupted in this deck. You need to normal summon Castor or normal summon something after using an Unexpected Die to make a rank 4. Yes, sometimes you might banish 1 or 2 with Desires, but it's very rare that you banish all 3 of your Heliotrope with Desires. Next, on Monos, 1 Rota to search Castor, watch double or nothing for our win con, 1 Dimensional Fissure because Monkey Flip is good. 2 Pandemic, so Infestation spells and traps are searchable by Ophion. This one is really cool. If all face-up Evilswarm monsters you currently control are unaffected by spells and traps until the end of the turn. This is a quick plane that's searchable by Ophion. It protects you against Dark Ruler no more. And then trap lineup, we're playing 1 Infestation Infection. This is basically the spoofing from Altergeist, where you like shuffle away a Evilswarm, add one with a different name. That's from field or hand. Now onto the fun bit of this deck. So we're playing 3 Tikaboo. We're all different types, including the XYZ, so we can easily play under our own Tikaboo. 3 Gozen Match. We're all dark. That's completely fine, and it does really disrupt the opponent. 3 Storm Strike and 3 Judgment. This deck is a bit of a monkey flip helmet deck, but it's just nice to play something rank 4 toolbox instead of like Guru or True Draco. The only thing that can conflict is sometimes you'll open 2 Castor under their Can Everyone, or 2 Unexpected Dying, which does struggle with this. Goes a match can stop you from going into certain XYZs that you want to. So say if you summon your Dark Evilswarm, you then can't summon like Utopia Double and things like this. The Solemn Strike and Judgment are there just there to protect your Ophion, really. This is the part now where we do another shout out to another channel that I personally watch. Again, I have not been asked or paid to do anything like this. This week's shout out goes to Whirlwind Gaming. This is a channel I've worked with in the past. They are very small, they're very niche. They do podcasts around Yu-Gi-Oh! With other players from our area, including those who have been successful at YCS levels. Really, really cool to go watch and put on in the background while you cook dinner, or you read a book, or you just got nothing to do for an hour. They also do things like a series on old Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, which is really nice. But more importantly, they also have a eBay store, which is where I get all my cards from. So if you're wondering where I get all the cards from for my deck profiles, I get them from Whirlwind Gaming. Their eBay store, I think, is on their channel as well. Go check them out. They're really useful and really cool as well. On to our extracts. So we're playing 2 Evilswarm Ophion. I only have 1 secret, it's really annoying. I have 2 ultras, so I could play if I wanted to 2 ultras, but I like playing with the secret. While this card has XYZ material, level 5 or higher monsters cannot be special summoned. You can detach 1 material to search an infestation and spell a trap. So you make this turn 1, you detach 1, you search your pandemic, which protects it from spells and traps. They can't gamma this because obviously Driver is too high a monster to be summoned. They can't kaiju this, they can't Pankratops this. If they're playing a deck like Cyber Dragon, like I was, they just can't play the game at all, unfortunately. It's a very powerful floodgate monster that ruined Dragon Rulers back in the day, and now it loses to a single Nightmare Cerberus, which does kind of suck, but it's still really fun to play. The OG Zeus, we're playing 1 Evilswarm Extra Knight. If your opponent controls more cards and in their hand than you do total, so you add each other's hand and field up, you can detach 1, blow up all cards on the board, except itself. So that's really cool because you basically just nuke the board going second. This did win me some games in the Jank tournament. And then our last Evilswarm XYZ, we're playing 1 Nightmare. We're not playing Bahamut or Ouroboros, just because Ouroboros I do have Bahamut. I unfortunately don't have Bahamut. Would be awesome because it's kind of like a steal. Ouroboros is a bit too many materials. It needs 3 materials to make work, really, so it's not really that successful. Evilswarm Nightmare is basically Book of Moon, so if they're playing a deck that doesn't care about Ophion, you can make this and kind of Book of Moon their plays. It's only two times though, so it's not as good as the Ophion. If they don't care about the Ophion, so say if you're playing something like Sky Striker, you kind of have to just make it differently, XYZ instead. Other XYZs, we're playing Utopia. For the Utopia double play, that's really cool because obviously it's easier to K. You can make Ophion turn 1, turn 2 you can make Utopia double. We actually are also playing a Utopia the Lightning. This is a really cool card that saw a lot of play before, really before Master Rule 4. When Master Rule 4 came out, this card kind of like dropped off. When you declare an attack with this, your opponent cannot activate any cards until the end of the damage step, and you can detach 2 materials to make this card's attack 5k. So they make Dragoon, you make a Utopia, you overlay this on top of the Utopia, you attack, you detach 2, you make it 5k, they can't negate because they can't chain anything to it, and suddenly now you've killed their Dragoon. 1 Abyss Dweller, because you never know, you might come up against a zombie deck. 1 Time for Freedoer, this is probably the best rank 4 that you can make that isn't an Evilswarm card. 1 Baguska, 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Castell, I'm going old school, 1 Cowboy for game, this does actually come up, and then finally 1 Zeus. Originally I was playing 2 Zeus, I do have another one in my binder, but I actually preferred the Utopia the Lightning shenanigans. And then finally 1 Steel Swarm Origin. This card is actually kind of bad, but it does have some niche payoffs. So if it's in the extra monster zone and it points to a card, it can't be destroyed by battle, card effects, or targeted with card effects. So it's pretty much a towers and it's 2k attack. If a card in the main monster zone is destroyed, you can special summon as many awesome monsters from your deck up to the number of those cards destroyed. So say if you have this on the board, then you have an XYZ here, and your opponent activates Torrential Tribute. It'll blow up everything apart from the Origin, and the Origin will summon as many monsters as were destroyed. So probably 2 or 3, and then you can summon more out that way. Onto the extra deck, guys, we're playing 3 Alpha. Just because it's actually really nice, and this deck does struggle to go second. It's also an inherent out to Dragoon, because you just summon it and then you crash, and then they aren't really going to get any value out of the Dragoon. Next thing we're playing 3 Radiant, just because it is Dark Kaiju, so it works with the Allure. And then obviously 3 Nibiru, again going second. We need to break the board before we start to play. The big problem this deck has is it is solely reliant on that first rank 4 you make. You normal summon 1 monster, you get another one out, you make a rank 4. That is your turn. You don't have any extenders bar that. You don't have any ways to bait out your opponent's negates. You just have to hope your normal summon XYZ goes through. Back removal, playing 2 Cosmic Cyclone, 3 Eradicator Epidemic Virus, and 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. This is more for your opponent's decks that are really reliant on continuous traps. So things like Guru, Mystic Mine as well. You make it Ophion, okay, they don't care about the Ophion. You tribute it off for the Pandemic and just wipe their hand and board from spells and traps. Well guys, that was the Evilswarm profile. You may have noticed my voice a little bit different. I've restarted work recently and the shock of coming out of lockdown has basically made me lose my voice. I did also axe myself in the leg 2 days ago, so that's why this is a late upload. I had a hole in my leg which I needed to sort out before I uploaded cardboard videos. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. If you liked and subscribed, awesome. Otherwise, I'll see you again next time.